Howdy y'all, hope everyone is doing alright. Throughout your adventures in Palworld, you'll constantly find yourself collecting resources from catching or defeating pals. Aquatic pal fluids from pingulets, flame organs from foxbarks, and even cotton candy from this littlest pet shop wannabe. While this is perfectly fine during the early game, eventually you'll find yourself needing these resources in much larger quantities. That's where ranches come in. Unlocked at Tier 5 in the technology tree, the ranch costs only 2 technology points and a handful of resources to build. Once placed, your pals can passively create items for you while you continue doing things you enjoy more, like exploring, building, or harassing the degenerates roaming around the islands of Palworld. So without further ado, here are all of the ranch working pals ready to graze their way into your resource collection. Starting off the list, we have our neutral type wool producing pals. Wool is an important resource used to create various clothing items, gliders, saddles, and multiple structures throughout your journey. Lamball will most likely be your very first source of wool, found in the starting areas of the Plateau of Beginnings and in the grassing Behemoth Hills. These little balls of fluff are probably one of the first pals you had ever caught. With each pal condenser level this little ball of softness gains, it has a chance to produce more wool while grazing. This in turn goes along with every other pal that I will mention in this list. At level 1, the lamball will produce 1 wool, at level 2 it produces 1 to 2, and going all the way up to 1 to 5 at level 5. These lamballs can only be bred by using a male and a female lamball. Their partner skill, Fluffy Shield, allows lamball to equip itself to the player and act as a personal shield, absorbing incoming damage. Honestly, lamball is the perfect starter pal. It's adorable, useful, and somehow we all end up turning this little innocent little fluff ball into an important part into our resource empire. Found throughout the Windswept Hills, Marsh Island, and Forgotten Island, Cremis is basically Lamball's slightly upgraded, fluffier cousin. At maximum condensation, Cremis can produce up to 6 wool per graze, making it a great improvement if you want to increase your wool production. If you have yourself a Hoocrates and a Sweepa, you can breed your own army of these little fluffy monsters. Its partner skill, Fluffy Wool, increases the attack of all neutral type pals in your active party while Cremis is with you. Cremis is basically what happens when Lamball goes through a glow-up. Same adorable energy, just with a little more fluff and a better resume. The last of our wool grazers is Malpaca. Found wandering through the small settlement and protecting the Kingpaca world boss, or bred using Vixy Incognito, these fellows are basically a longer, stretchier version of Cremis. They produce the same amount of wool as Cremis, but with triple the neck and leg length, because apparently Palworld looked at an alpaca and decided, what if we just made the legs and neck a little bit more dramatic for our liking? Malpaca may not be the biggest upgrade over other wool producers, but there is something incredibly funny about having a giant fluffy noodle wandering around your ranches. Do you constantly find yourself running out of leather needed to craft your armor, saddles, and other important gear? Then make your way to the Bamboo Groves or Verdant Brook and catch yourself this water-type pal, Serpent. If you find yourself running low on pal spheres but you have some bait sitting around, Serpent can also be fished up from these areas. You can also breed one by taking a Pin King and a Kelpsie and putting them in one of your little love shacks. Not only does this slippery pool noodle produce leather, but it can also help with watering your crops and running your crusher thanks to its level 3 watering work stability. Serpent can also be ridden to travel across bodies of water and prevent stamina depletion while swimming with his partner skill, Swift Swimmer. At maximum condensation, Serpent can produce up to 6 leather per graze. Honestly, Serpent is one of those pals that looks like someone stretched out a water dragon until it became the world's fanciest pool noodle. But don't let the goofy shape fool you. This pal is incredibly useful early, mid, and late game. Sibilix is basically the ice-type fashion designer of the ranch. This elegant, moth-like pal produces high-quality cloth, and honestly, I trust it. Look at it. It has better style than I do, and it's probably wondering why I'm still wearing the same armor from 5 episodes ago. They can mainly be found in the Astral Mountains, or created by breeding a Pin King and a Bushy. Sibilix has a chance to produce up to 5 high-quality cloth per graze, making it one of the pals I try to get as soon as possible. Not only does it help with cloth production, but it also has the ability to assist with medicine and cooling at your base. Sibilix is basically proof that Palworld has no problem hiring a runaway model and asking it to help you with the industrial production that you need. Dew Mud is one of those ground and water type pals that looks like it shouldn't be this useful, but somehow becomes one of the best ranch workers for me. This little guy produces high-quality pal oil, which is a resource you will constantly need for crafting polymer and other late-game weapons. Dew mud can produce up to 5 high-quality pal oil per graze. You can find dew mud in the desert near Anubis, or breed one by combining a jolt hog and a Digtoise. An odd combination, but it somehow works. Its partner skill, Soil Improver, passively increases the attack power of all ground-type pals in your party. Then, Dew Mud Guild takes things a step further by producing both high-quality pal oil and gold. You can create Dew Mud Guild by breeding a regular Dew Mud and an Ecthyr Terra, or by fishing around the desert regions. Both versions of Dew Mud are also capable of helping with watering, mining, and transporting around your base. Dew Mud is the perfect example of a pal that looks like it should just be sitting in a puddle somewhere, but secretly ends up being one of the most valuable creatures that I own. Flame organs are one of those resources I find myself needing way more often than I expected, especially during early game. Thankfully, having one of these 3 fire-type pals working at your ranch means you don't have to constantly go down and hunt more fox sparks like some kind of resource goblin. With the lowest grazing output of our flame organ producers, Ruby can still be a great early game option. Ruby can be found throughout the Seabreeze Archipelago, Marsh Island, Forgotten Island, and Scars of War. You can also breed one using a Hucrates and Moozarina, another pal we'll be talking about later on. Its partner skill, Tiny Spark, passively increases the attack power of all other fire-type pals in your party. Ruby might not be the strongest option for flame organs, but it's a great early game pal that can help get those resources coming in. Flambell is a tiny fireball that produces up to 5 flame organs per graze. They can be found wandering through Mount Obsidian, or if you're feeling fancy, you can breed one up by using a Vixy and a Chillet. While Flambell is in your party, its partner skill, Magma Tears, passively recovers the health of both you and your summon pals by 0.1% per second, while outside of combat. Flambell is one of those pals that looks like it should be causing chaos, not helping me gather resources, but somehow this tiny little fireball is out here keeping my furnaces running. Last in the flame organs list is Kelpsy Ignis. This pal can be found wandering through the beaches of Mount Obsidian, fished up around the same beaches, or found around the desert regions. If you already have yourself a Pin King and a Ribbunny, you have your chance of breeding one. Kelpsy Ignis can produce up to 5 flame organs per graze, just like Flambell, but it has the added bonus of looking like someone tossed a cute little sea creature into a volcano and somehow made it look a little bit better. Its partner skill, Lava Spout, works the same way that Ruby's Tiny Spark does, increasing the attack power of all fire-type pals in your party. Each one of these flame organ producers also has the work stability to help with kindling, making them useful just beyond their ranch productions. Much like flame organs, ice organs are another resource that you can have your pals produce for you instead of constantly hunting them down. For this, you have 2 ice-type options. Found roaming around the icy regions of the map, Foxicle and Malchrist can produce up to 3 ice organs per graze. They also both have the work stability needed to help cool your items around the base. Foxicle can be bred using a Gobfin and a Broncherry. Its partner skill, Aurora God, passively increases the attack power of all ice-type pals in your party. Malchrist, on the other hand, requires a Mal and a Pinglet to breed. Malchrist, along with its original version Mal, produces you gold coins as it ranches as well. Tiny bodies, icy attitudes, and somehow they have even better cooling system than my house. Honestly, I trust these 2 little guys more than I trust my actual air conditioner at this point. The last organ on our list is the electric organ, and this is produced by the one and only Sparkit. Not only can Sparkit provide electric organs, but it can also help with handiwork, transporting, and electricity around your base. If you don't want to travel to the windswept hills or head out to the Twilight Dunes, you can breed one by taking a T-Fint and a Gumas together. Its partner skill, Static Electricity, passively increases the attack power of all other electric-type pals in your party by 15 to 30%, depending on the skill level itself. Sparkit may look like a tiny little lightning gremlin, but it definitely earns its place around my base. Much like its red, volcano-loving cousin, Kelpsy Ignis, the water-type Kelpsy produces its own resource, aquatic pal fluids. Creating up to 3 aquatic pal fluids per graze, this pal can not only help with watering your crops, but also run around your base looking like a wet sock that gained consciousness and decided life was actually pretty great in Palworld. Its partner skill, Aqua Spout, increases the attack power of all water type pals in your party. Kelpsy can be fished up around the beaches of the starting area or bred using a Vixy and a gobfin. Honestly, Kelpsy is one of those pals that makes absolutely no sense but somehow fits perfectly into this game. Do you enjoy giving your enemies a little extra poison with your weapons? Then you'll want one of these 2 pals running around in your ranch. Found wandering around at night in the windswept hills, Seabreeze Archipelago, and Forgotten Islands, this sad little dark type pal can produce venom glands. Even though Depresso looks like it would rather be anywhere else, this pal can also help you with your handiwork, transporting, and mining around your base. If you have yourself a Vixy and a Hoocrates, you can breed your very own emo little coffee addict. Its partner skill, Caffeine Inoculation, gives Depresso a sudden burst of energy that increases movement and work speed. This bonus increases with each level of its skill. Honestly, Depresso has the energy of someone who hates being awake but somehow still gets everything done. Our much happier looking dark type option is Capertee Noct. Located throughout the Faebrick Isles, Capertee Noct produces the same amount of venom glands as Depresso. It also happens to come with a level 2 plant working stability, making it a helpful addition to your base just beyond branch productions. You'll need a Capertee and a Tarantris to create this adorable purple bush with legs. I don't know who decided the best way to create a poison-producing creature was to make it look like a magical shrub, but I honestly respect that creativity. Next up is another contender for the first pal you ever caught, Chikipi. This neutral type pal can be found throughout the starting islands and produces eggs, which are needed for making omelets and cakes. Because of my unhealthy addiction to constantly breeding more pals together, Chikipi has become a permanent resident at my base. They can only be bred using a male and female Chikipi, and honestly, they only exist to make us eggs. That's it. No grand purpose, no hidden destiny, just a tiny bird walking around making tiny eggs. And it somehow becomes an important feature at any base that I have at this point. Found in the early game islands, Mozzarina is our milk producer for making our cakes. These voluptuous fellas can be bred using a Jolt Hog and Nightwing. They look like someone took a cow, made it extra round, and gave it the energy of a confused golden retriever. Don't let that goofy face fool you though. Mozzarina is incredibly important. Without milk, there is no cake. And without cake, a huge part of my pal breeding operation becomes just nothing. And along with that is just a piece of my joy in this game. This next grass top pal makes me want to keep an EpiPen close whenever I'm around it. Located in the Verdant Brook in Mossanda Forest, Beeguard is our honey producer. If you don't want to risk getting blown to bits while catching one, you can breed one using a Pin King and a Cinnamoth. As terrifying as they are, Beeguard is an incredibly useful early game pal. With planting, handiwork, lumbering, medicine production, and transporting at level 2, along with gathering level 3, these little guys can handle a huge variety of tasks around your base. You could almost run an entire base just using Beeguards. I wouldn't suggest it, but you could. Just maybe keep a little distance for safety reasons. If you want a steady supply of cotton candy, then you'll need to grab yourself a Woolly Pop. This neutral top pal produces the cotton candy needed to make different types of medicine and can also decrease hunger depletion at your base with its partner skill Candy Pop. With a new addition to cakes as well, and the way that they redid those, you'll need cotton candy to make some of these better cakes. They can be bred using a Vixy and a Gale Claw. You can also breed Woolly Pop with a Kit to create its new ground top counterpart, Woolly Pop Terra. The only way to obtain a Woolly Pop Terra is by traveling to the Suncrest Islet. Woolly Pop Terra produces caramel cotton candy, which is needed to make the new special cake for your breeding needs. Its partner skill works the same way as Woolly Pop's, but is renamed to Bitter Pop. Honestly, Woolly Pop looks like someone asked what if a cloud of cotton candy had a face. If you find yourself running low on food for your pals but still want an easy passive way to keep berries stocked, grab yourself a Capertee. This grass top pal produces red berries for you, taking away some of the need for constant farming, planting, harvesting, and watering pals taking up your slots in your base. They can be found throughout the starting islands or bred using a Vixy and a sweeper. Caperty probably won't be enough to support the entire base by itself, but having 2 or 3 working at a ranch can definitely help keeping your berry supply flowing. Plus, who doesn't love having a giant berry-producing bush with legs wandering around? Not only is Violet decent at planting, handiwork, medicine production, transporting, and gathering, but this grass top pal slowly produces the different types of seeds needed to create your crop farms. Violet can only be found in the Wildlife Sanctuary number 1, or bred using higher level pals like Orzurk or Frostallion Noct with a Jolthog Christ. Its partner skill, Purification of Gaia, increases the amount of items ground top pals will drop when defeated. This tiny little flower pal is basically the reason I don't have to constantly run around the map searching for seeds. It just sits there looking adorable while slowly becoming the backbone of my farming operation. With the addition of new cake options for breeding operations, the need for mushrooms and cavern mushrooms has become ever more important. Enter Shroomer. This walking mushroom grass-type pal is adorable and somehow fulfills the need for the phallic-shaped pal we apparently needed. Shroomer can be found on the Sakurajima Island. I'm sure the other pals on this list are just as jealous they don't get to live on one of the most beautiful islands in the game. With work stability and planting, handiwork, lumbering, and gathering, Shroomer can be bred using a Dazi and a Warsectera. Its partner skill, Rampant Spores, allows it to be ridden as a mount. Honestly, Palworld looked at a mushroom with legs and said, yeah, that's a mount now. To create cement and other certain medical supplies, you'll need a steady supply of bones. Thankfully, these 2 nocturnal pals are here to dig it up for us day and night. Found throughout the bamboo groves, desiccated dunes, Faybrake, and Sakurajima, Cognito is definitely a pal for the night owls. Along with producing bones, Cognito can also help with your lumbering. They can be bred using a Hoocrates and a Lizabee. Its counterpart, Suitseer, a fire dark top pal, can also be found roaming around Faybrake. Suitseer can help with kindling, handiwork, gathering, and mining. Its partner skill, Grave Robber, allows players and party pals to take less neutral damage. Honestly, Cognito and Suitseer look like they could have been a villain in some kind of spooky side quest, but instead they're just here helping me collect resources, and I respect it. And the final pal on our list is an absolute knockout when it comes to ranch production, Vixy. Vixy is a neutral top pal with the partner skill, Dig Here. This is one of those pals I keep working at my base almost permanently. I will condense one all the way down to maximum 5 stars as soon as I possibly can. And why? Well, because Vixy is basically a tiny treasure chest with legs. When assigned to a ranch, Vixy can produce pal spheres, gold, and arrows. With each condensation level, Vixy has the chance to produce better rewards in even higher quantities, eventually reaching megaspheres, which can be broken down late in the game to turn into palladium. Vixy can be found throughout the early game islands or bred using a Tiefin and a Lamball. I think Vixy is one of the most underrated pals in the entire game. It may not look impressive, and it definitely isn't winning any intimidating pal contest, but this little fox-like creature can quietly become one of the most valuable members of your base. Never underestimate the tiny ones, because size does not matter. And I think that about wraps up every ranch working pal currently available in Palworld. I'm sure I missed one or two, and if you wouldn't mind letting me know down in the comments how much of an ignoramus I am, I would greatly appreciate it. I want to thank you for sticking around and learning about these pals with me. The ranch system is one of those features that I think gets overlooked because it happens passively in the background. But once you start setting up the right pals, it can completely change how you play the game. Instead of constantly running around searching for these resources, you can have your own little ecosystem working away while you explore, build, and discover everything Palworld has to offer. But until next time, happy ranching.